With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary K.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K, and welcome to another pre-ISE edition of my Rants and Raves videocast. I'm excited about today's videocast because we're going to talk to a company, WyreStorm, WYRESTORM.com, who's literally going to talk about brand new products they're going to show at the show. And one exciting product is aimed at higher education and potentially even K through 12, because it uses 3 or 4 different technologies in one, which is really nice. It's kind of a hybrid product. But before we talk about that specifically, I want to introduce Voislav, who is the product director at WyreStorm. Voislav, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you. And it's always a pleasure talking to rAVe and have this interview because it's just a corner behind the ISE show, and we are really excited to be there again.
Yeah, and you have an expertise in AV over IP, so I'm going to address the first question to you in just a second. But before that, I want to introduce Franklyn Mogale. Franklyn is the technical sales director for the EMEA. How are you doing, Franklyn?
It's all good. Thank you for having us on the show. It's always a pleasure.
Well, I'm in higher education. I teach, so I'm probably going to appreciate your switcher. I'm going to come back to you in just a second, but Voislav, I want to talk to you because WyreStorm was one of the early adopters of AV over IP, and I kind of want to get a state of the AV over IP market with regard to where WyreStorm sits and kind of what you're going to show at ISE. Like, you know, you've always one of the first AV over IP products I ever saw was in your booth years ago, so I know that you have a great interest in that. Yeah.
So. Well, as you said, we were one of the first guys to present the AV over IP and be the pioneers in that technology.
Agreed.
And that's why we call it Power of 3, because we're covering all 3 different technologies when it comes to AV over IP. And whoever is familiar with WyreStorm knows that very well. And that's our key selling products, and we are constantly upgrading it. What is new for this year that we are going to show is the cloud monitoring. So now we are adding Sigma cloud monitoring, that's how we call it, with the partnership with Xyte. It's totally free of charge, so easy to configure, easy to set it up, and that's what we want to give, like a value to our customers. So people now can, once they are done with their project installation, everything is all good, done, working fine. They can just press few more buttons to get that system on the network, on the cloud, and it brings them ability to monitor the system and to know when the system goes for some, who knows why, God forbid, issue, and then
right.
They can know in front whether something drops offline, if somebody turned off the system for some mistake. You know, they can be informed, alarmed automatically, and then they can also raise tickets with our tech support directly from that platform, so they don't have to create an email, open the case. They can just go to that platform, click on the product that is offline, and say, guys, this device is offline, what's going on? So then directly from the platform, we can see what is the problem. So this is the new that we're going to show on ISE. This is really
well. I want to say I think it's smart that you partnered with Xyte. And by the way, if people who are watching this don't know who Xyte is, go to xyte.io because they have a really interesting platform because it's universal. Basically, anyone can join the Xyte platform and anyone can monitor. So it gives you the ability to have one pane of glass to control and monitor everything that you put in. You mentioned earlier, congratulations on that. I'm excited to see it myself. You mentioned that earlier, the power of 3. And I think that's important for people to understand sort of the fact that in the case of WyreStorm, you're not tied to one ecosystem with regard to AV over IP, that you've kind of taken the approach of, hey, if you want to do 1 gig, we got 1 gig. You want to do 10 gig, we got 10 gig. Doesn't really matter, but the whole thing can be managed through the same cloud system.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it, because we regardless of what technology you use, we have a single controller that you configure in the same way, regardless whether you use H.265 whether you use JPEG 2000 or SDVOE, you always use one single encoder and one single controller, and that controller, in the same way you configure it to monitor your system, regardless of technology. So you don't have to learn how to configure it separately. You just learn once, and you know for all different technology.
Yeah, and that's unique, is the fact that you do have, and that's the key to AV over IP, is that controller. And congratulations there, y'all have been one of the, as you said, one of the pioneers of AV over IP. Franklyn, now it's your turn. So I teach in higher education, so I'm excited about your product because you have a hybrid switcher that does AV over IP, HDBaseT, and HDMI signal routing and distribution, which is nice because you are going to have legacy products. First off, what is the product called, and tell us a little bit about it.
So the product is called MX1007 and HYB.
Okay.
HYB stands for hybrid, just as you mentioned. It's a seamless 4K 60 matrix switcher. All the outputs are scaled, so you have like 1 second switching between the inputs. And
so seamless switching, basically.
Correct. And the HDBaseT is HDBaseT 3 spec. And,
okay, so the new HDBaseT spec, yeah.
Yeah, and one input is USB-C. As you all know,
and does USB-C port, will it also power the laptop so it could be used in a UC application?
60 watts. So you have a PD 3.0, and it's a USB host. So you can send like the Ethernet as well. As you know, year 2024 is going to be the year of USB-C. It has one NHD 500 input and one output. Apart from that, it has 2 microphone inputs and as well Dante on board, so you have a 4x4. And of course, speaker outputs. We have a 4-channel 4 ohm or 8 ohm speaker out, and it's like a it has an audio mixer, so you have like DSP. You can do like ducking and stuff like that. So I'm very excited.
Wow.
Very proud of this product, actually.
So what is this, a 1U rack product? What's the size of this?
It's a 2U
2U
rack.
Okay.
2U. And then of course we have
and how many inputs?
Pardon?
How many inputs and how many outputs on the primary product?
It's 10 inputs and 7 outputs.
Okay, so it's a 10x7, which makes sense why you call it the 1007. And okay, good. And you said there's a baby brother version of it. Is that what you were starting to say?
Yeah, that's the MX0804 EDC. EDC stands for education. So basically, the difference between the two is that we've removed the DSP. It has USB-C and HDMI inputs and outputs. And
so in that case, it's not. There's no AV over IP option for it. It's just
no HDBaseT.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that product would be good for a small classroom where you just want to basically control all your sources. Whereas the other product would be good if you're using in an auditorium or a large meeting room, conference room, or even a boardroom kind of application as well.
Yeah, that's how we position the product. Yeah.
Yeah, and WyreStorm, by the way, will be in Hall 3 in booth 3A900. So A900 is their booth number, Hall 3. Voislav, congratulations. I mean, I think hybrid products are the future. I totally agree with Franklyn that USB-C is going to be the port of choice for 2024. I think everyone, now especially since Apple with the iPhone, thanks to the EU laws, switched to USB-C. We even now will have Apple devices compatible with USB-C, but obviously wireless too, right? I mean, how are you addressing wireless as a company?
Yeah, so we just end of life one of our best-selling products, which was a 540, the wireless presentation switches that had all the wireless thing, and people were like, "Why are you doing this? This is so perfect product, so good." And we said, just wait for the good part, because we are just on the ISE. We are going to showcase the new 640, the upgraded version of it that has all the wireless casting options as well. It has a more, like we added 2 USB-C ports instead of 1. So it's upgraded to support 4K 60 resolution as well. A new dongle that comes with it that's going to support now 4K 30. The previous one was just 1080p 60. So we upgraded the presentation switches, and now we have the wireless presentation switches that's going to showcase on ISE. Additionally, we're also going to show the standard switching without the wireless, just the standard presentation switches that has 2 USB-C and 2 HDMI inputs, 2 HDMI outputs. Simple, easy, USB 3.2.
And those are not matrix. Those are 2 outputs at the same time. Just two, like two.
You can matrices, but you can also do MST on them. So you can do
more
screens, so you can extend your screen, right, with a single cable. But I want to go back a little bit on the education part. So with the hybrid matrix, where we are showing the HDBaseT and AV over IP together on the standard seamless matrix, that's going to be huge. And what we did additionally to it is, because, as Franklyn said, it's HDBaseT 3.0. So we have a new line of HDBaseT transmitters and receivers to follow this matrix. So we are going to showcase the new HDBaseT 3.0 spec transmitter in wall and the normal, and the receiver that goes with it. So these units can be used as a classic standard point-to-point transmitter extender, or to be combined together with this education matrix to use those HDBaseT ports. And so now you have the whole solution. You have your in-wall transmission. You can extend the distance of your sources. You can take out that source that is in lecture hall and put it on unlimited number of displays, because you have AV over IP. Whenever you put a receiver behind,
once it's on the network, you can pull it off with any decoder.
To multicast, you can send as many to many screens as you want. So this solution we are showcasing on ISE with fully functional system. We are going to have a lecture hall basically there with the mini PC, with showing the KVM, with the WyreStorm speakers, with additional document camera. So you'll be able to feel it together with our touch panel. As you know, WyreStorm launched the 10-inch touch screen that can control IP system. So over IP, they can control any system, whether it's WyreStorm or third-party device, you can control it. So with that panel, you will be able to control it. So you come to the booth. I'm telling people to come to the booth and feel it. How fast it can switch. It's less than 1 second, and that, I think, that's a unique, and that's something that we are really excited to showcase this year.
Well, I think what's really neat is that we're actually going to go there and shoot videos on all these products. So if you can't go to the show, like their booth is Hall 3 A900. If you can't go, we're going to bring it to the rest of the world. So we got a couple 100,000 viewers all around the world that'll be watching our content. So we'll shoot those videos and we'll put them up within 24 hours. So we'll shoot your videos and get them up within 24 hours, which means that before the show ends, people will know what you actually showed at the show, and we'll actually show this demo. So make sure, Voislav, when our video shooter gets there, you make them shoot that whole demo so they can see this actually working in a classroom. Franklyn, I really appreciate it. Congratulations. I know you're excited about the product. Voislav, clearly the excitement that you have for all that you're doing shows. Congratulations. Of course, in the meantime, you can see WyreStorm at WyreStorm.com, WYRESTORM.com. In the meantime, if you're watching this after ISE, just go to rAVepubs.com/ISE and type in WyreStorm in the video search window, and you'll find these videos of these products we're talking about today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and follow along with all of our ISE coverage at rAVepubs.com.